So, dear Thầy, dear Sangha, first of all, I would like to thank Marie-Joëlle for the guided meditation that was beautifully chosen, and that went well with our theme tonight. Basically, Marie-Joëlle used the lyric from a song composed by Sister Thể Nghiêm, and she adapted very well to our guided meditation tonight. So in the summary, Marie-Joëlle in that guided meditation gave us three points. First, it says, I am a continuation of all my blood ancestors. And secondly, consequently, I am inherited of all seeds, positive seeds as well as unwholesome seeds. And the last part of her guided meditation say that I vow to continue two things. First, transforming the negative seeds, and then the second one is I have to water the positive seeds. And that is a beautiful way to pay gratitude to our ancestors as well as to help the healing process within ourselves and for our ancestors as well. So, secondly, I would like to say thanks to Catherine. Although she was not able to be here tonight, she sent us all the information and the background materials needed to prepare for the talk I am giving tonight. It is a difficult subject, but I will try to do my best. So let me show you the next slide. So I will tell you about my own story. The veneration of ancestors in my former country, Vietnam, was and remains a very strong tradition. In my own family, there was a small booklet called Gia Phả, which is a book about story of our family, in which we can find most of our blood-related ancestors up to several generations in the past. So twice a year, we used to commemorate the death anniversary of our parents if they both pass away. At this occasion, in front of the ancestor altar, like this one in my home that you see on the screen, on the right are my parents, and on the left is my wife's parents' pictures. And we invoke the Buddha Sakyamuni's name, and we invite all our ancestors to come home and share a meal with us. And sometimes we can also ask for their help in resolving our problems, or to provide protection for the dangerous situation we encounter, such as, the fighting around us during the war in Vietnam. So growing up in this tradition, I never had to wonder about who were my ancestors, because most of them were well recorded in our family ancestors book. And then until one day, the day our oldest daughter gave birth to her first child. Then 2 years later, her second child, one boy and one girl. She is Vietnamese, and her husband is a descendant of a Jewish family from Brazil. Her children both have blue eyes, and her mother-in-law claimed that the blue eyes came from her side because some relative in her family have blue eyes. My daughter consulted a professor at the university where she studied in Vancouver, and the professor told her that for children to have blue eyes, the genes must come from both families. And the question came right back to me. Who were my ancestors? Do they have blue eye genes? Then that is the next one. I decided to try one possible answer, DNA testing. DNA testing will help me to figure out where I and my family came from. This is based on scientific facts that our ancestors left us clues, their signatures, deep within every cell of our body. Here it is, you see the result. 60% of my ancestors, as you can see, came from Asia. Countries known today as China, Vietnam, Thailand, Mongolia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. The rest, 40%, came from half from East European countries, Italy, and the Balkans, and almost half from England and Ireland. So my daughter presented this result to her mother-in-law, and since that day, her mother-in-law no longer talked about her ancestor blue eye genes. Number 3 slide. And what Thầy teachings about blood ancestors? I spent time reading all the material sent to us by Catherine, and this is what I found as a summary for you. First, Thầy taught that we are our ancestors, we are our children. Since the time we were conceived in the womb of our mother, we were linked physically to her through the umbilical cord. Through the umbilical cord, our mother channels food, drink, oxygen, everything, including love. Some of us had a father who knew we were there and who knew to take very good care of our mother, so she could take care of us. Then the notion of interbeing. When we were born, someone cut the umbilical cord. We cried aloud for the first time. We had to breathe for ourselves. Fortunately, our mother continued to hold us. Although the cord was no longer there, we linked to our mother in a very concrete and intimate way. With the practice of meditation, we can still see the cord connecting us to our mother, and when we look deeply, we see that there are umbilical cords linking us to other things, other people as well. So like a grain of corn we plant in the soil that will sprout and begin to take the form of a corn stalk. We are a continuation of our mother and father, and our ancestors as well. If we look into one cell of our body, or one cell of our consciousness, we should recognize the presence of all the generations of ancestors in us. The third one, the karma of thought, speech, and actions. Thầy taught that our thinking is the basis of our speech and actions. We transmit our thoughts, speech, and actions collectively known as our karma to our children and to the world. That is our future. That is our continuation. Mindfulness helps us to know whether we are providing the right thing for the future, and helps us remember that what we produce is us, is our continuation. Then Thầy also mentioned about habit energy. Whatever kind of action we take, if we look deeply into it, we will be able to recognize the seed of that action. That seed may come from our ancestors. Whatever action we take, our ancestors are taking it at the same time with us. Sometimes we act without intention. It is habit energy that is pushing us to do things without our being aware. With mindfulness, we can become aware of the habit energy that has been passed down to us. Once we become aware of our actions, we can decide whether or not it's beneficial, and if it's not, we can decide not to repeat that action. If one action can keep calm, if we can keep calm and smile at the provocation, the whole world will have a better chance for peace. Like what I said, and I am offering you the last slide, the 4 expressions of gratitude that I use to request my daughters and their husband-to-be to bow, to prostrate in front of the family ancestor, Anta, on which Anta that we prepared, there were pictures from both families, and then they both stand in front of the altar, and for each gratitude, they bow down deeply, like touching the earth that we used to do. So I will read it one by one. In gratitude to our father and mother who have brought us to life, that's the first one. In gratitude to our teachers who have given us instructions and taught us knowledge, the second one. The third one, in gratitude to our friends who give support in our life. And the last one, in gratitude to all beings, animals, plants, and minerals. So both groom and the bride bow down in front of the ancestor, Anta. When my youngest one decided to marry her husband-to-be, they decided to do that in Hội An, a beautiful city in the center of Vietnam. And we had no choice because they decided. So we came, we prepared for them. And I have asked the hotel to prepare a table in the backyard on which we put all the pictures. And we light the incense and so on. And fortunately, I was able to borrow a big bell from a pagoda nearby. And then they do the 4 bowing with the 4 expressions of gratitude in front of both families. We were about maybe 50 persons. And that was a very beautiful ceremony. And I still remember. So I will close it off here with my deep bow to you, thanking you for your listening. And I will stop the recording now, and we will listen to a video clip by Thầy.